Hey everyone, Eric Watson here, freelance writer, player of games, writer of words, recorder of videos, and a tabletop role-playing aficionado. Welcome to another DM's Guild review, my written and video view series. Take a look at the adventures and supplemental material at the Dungeon Masters Guild website. With this video, I'll be reviewing the Spelljammer sourcebook, Captain in Gathrod's Tall Tales of Distant Stars, designed by StickyHunter, aka Stephanie Farrow, and a whole bunch of talented writers, editors, and artists over on the DM's Guild. A review copy has been provided for the purposes of this review. If you're interested in a sponsored review, you can reach me via email or on Discord or in my submission form at roguewatson.com. And if you enjoy the content, consider using my affiliate links for your online shopping or supporting me via patreon.com/roguewatson. Captain Gothrod's Tall Tales. I was expecting a perhaps anthology adventure book, or perhaps a book of maybe page-long encounters, still themed around Spelljammer and various wild space locations. So this might be a case of misunderstanding or mismanaged expectations, because that's not actually what this book is at all. In fact, this book is a source book. It describes, I believe, about a dozen or over a dozen wild space locations that you can see here, as well as providing some new ships. Now, that being said, this is an amazing source book. It does a phenomenal job of providing some really cool content for Spelljammer if you want to explore different systems with a lot of different cool ideas. And it just does a really great job of not getting bogged down in boring history, frankly, of like you can read a history book and just fall asleep with all the proper names and the events that happen and everything. Instead, it focuses on what's going on right now, why that location is interesting and worth exploring, and all of the notable NPCs that are in that area, as well as providing some plot hooks. So on the one hand, I am disappointed that I didn't get a whole lot of adventure content in this book. I don't think the plot hooks quite does it for me. But on the other hand, I was very impressed with just all the just the way it's put together, very professional layout and design. The art of all these characters is absolutely amazing and phenomenal. And again, I love the fact that it specifically focuses on the characters and the things that actually matter when you're going to visit a system, and potential adventures that can spin out from there. This is also a very big book. It's almost 100 pages long, because each of these 15 wild space systems takes up at least a couple pages worth of content and information. So I'm not going to go over every single one of them. There's a lot here, but I will go over some of my favorites. Shock Space is probably one of my favorite ones right at the beginning, because it's a classic like a mega corporation like Coruscant Shadowrun type shit, where pretty much the entire city is either the planet is a jungle, and then they built a sprawling city that became like this mega corporation. So I love that the description is 2 parts concrete jungle, 1 part actual jungle. And there's a lot of neat thing about there is how there's a Griff like CEO Reginald Beaumont who controls everything, and a lot of neat characters and adventures that can happen with just this large, cheeky capitalist dystopian kind of society that's run an entire planet. So I enjoy that one. Crimson Space is an entire system that is stuck in a 7-day time loop, which is very interesting. It also has a weird thing that's called the Hunk, which is floating in space and can be explored. This like a mega structure that's kind of blurred and odd. The entire place is run by several archmages who basically keep everything in a time loop, so before the destruction of the entire system. It's a very cool idea, kind of maybe reminiscent of the Outer Wilds or something. Kiasa Space, I think I'm saying that correctly, is home to an otherworldly aurora that leaks from an artificial sun. It's sort of a spacey wild magic phenomenon. It's got a water planet with merfolk, and it's got several frozen moons around it, including like filled with like remorazes and frost giants and things. There's like a hanging garden planetoid, which has this arch druid who is trying to restore their long lost like lich lover at one point. Like just some very, very cool ideas throughout these. Nidum space. We're gonna skip ahead to this one. If you recognize Carvos, not Craven the Hunter, Carvos the Hunter, a vampire captain who hunts mega creatures in Nidum space. Which the mega creatures are the Cetone, which are these large, like, space astral starfish, and this whole area attracts these gargantuan mighty creatures because the actual star was like crafted from a celestial god's energy, and so they basically do this big migration here where they then give up their life, and it attracts a lot of incorporeal undead as well as a lot of hunters as well as a lot of like conservationists who want to see these giant creatures come in here. So you can see where it's literally designed like a source book, right, where like every single one of these little miniature galaxy area, not miniature, they're galaxies, I guess, that have all their multiple planets and things, but it focuses on like what makes this area interesting, why do the players need to visit this area, and like what are the kind of important characters and plot hooks that can spin out of that area. Rhyme space is a neat idea. This is a wild space area that's basically just a moving comet, the Wandering Rhyme, so it can like capture planets within its space. There's a Spelljammer ship that's kind of caught right there on the tip that kind of wanders in and out so people can explore it, but when it wanders back into the comet, it becomes just way too cold and deadly. I just thought that was a kind of an interesting area. There's a space prison there, run by this Captain Vara, which has this Githzerai guy who's been captured and tries to unite his people very forcibly. So there's a whole plot hook thing there. There's a only single inhabitable planet, has a bunch of subterranean fire newts in it, which is a neat idea. So I love all that. Let's see. Ring space has a illithid parasite thing that's been sucking all the energy out of the sun and siphoning it, and the ring world that was here exploded. A lot of these are like post-destruction, post-apocalyptic systems also, and this one has an exploded ring world. There's now just all these fragments that still share the same atmosphere, so you can kind of like hop along like the rocks and asteroids. There's a lot of creatures and things that exist in there, which is really neat. Thorn space is another one that I like. This one is the one with the floating oceans, which has like these near sentient jellyfish around there, which is pretty nice. And then this one has also a ring of asteroids, but this features a lot of NPCs that can ride these flying insects that zip around to each other and typically at war with one another. Again, cool ideas here. Well space for interstellar fans. It has the black hole instead of a sun, and there's a lot of time dilation, just like in Interstellar. And the villain is like a future version of one of the NPCs, and he's like got all this cyborg shit. And there's some cool plot hooks there. There's a lot of different ideas because the time dilation captures people from like past, present, and future. So like there's examples here: goblinoids from the distant past disappear on the eve of a great battle. A cluster of wizards and scholars whose archaeological pursuits left them trapped in the system. The one before, an ancient aberration who lies deep within the sludge and whose time-obsessed cultists come from all over the realm. There's a bunch of monsters called the Time Takers, which prowl through this well space area. There's some really, really cool ideas present here, and it uses a lot of the creatures from, was it Boo's Astral Menagerie, I think is the one from Spelljammer, where like the Dower, which are like the penguin creatures, and like vampirates and stuff, things that aren't necessarily the major races that were added in Spelljammer, like the Hadozi and the ooze guys, plasmoids, and some other ones, but actual just like NPC stat blocks that are expanded on, and like, hey, this is like the home system of the Rygar, which are like those duplicating artist people. That's a neat idea. Just like expands on all that stuff. So if you're enjoying Spelljammer, which I know the 5th edition release probably wasn't as much as people were hoping for whenever they were making jokes about, oh, when's Spelljammer coming out? It kind of came out with, I think, little fanfare, and the release was a little bit smaller than people were expecting. This really helps shore that up. It's a lot of really awesome content, and I love the way it's actually presented. It's very easy to digest and read about. I love the full color artwork that we get for the system maps, as well as all the character art is really, really good. I just got a little disappointed by the fact that we didn't get a lot of actual adventure content overall. So that's something I'm always really looking for. Although it's a source book basically. So it's just, I think it's managing your expectations. This is not an adventure anthology book. It's not even an encounter book. It is a source book. I do wish my source books came out with a little more, sample adventure ideas, or at least encounters or something along the way. But as a source book, I think this does a very, very fine job. Let's go over my pros and cons for Captain and Gathrod's Tall Tales of Distant Stars. Pro: 15 detailed wild space system locations, including prominent NPCs and plot hooks. That is pretty much most of what this book is, and it's absolutely fabulous. Pro: 8 new spell jamming ships, which I kind of went over a little bit quickly. It's too bad we didn't get the cool color art that we did with the system maps and the characters, but it's fine. Like, we actually got a lot of spelljamming ships with the Spelljammer release, the 5th edition release. This gives you a lot of like just watery themed. Every single one of them is like either a fish or something to do with ocean and life and things. But yeah, okay, that's fine. I think it's appropriate to give it in a source book is more spelljamming ships. I do like the little one-seater ones are pretty nice to have as well. Pro: fabulous original character art. Just flipping through here, you can see, my goodness, they are absolutely amazing. I think there are multiple artists, and each of these systems, by the way, is by a different author as well, so you'll get different takes overall, but just really, really fantastic throughout. And to me, that is the correct way to frame a source book, which is focus on, again, what's going on now. Obviously, you'll need to say a little bit about the past to have that be relevant, but focus on what's going on right now and who are the major characters that I want to use and have interact with the party. So this is a thumbs up for that. Pro: professional layout and design, not to mention the full color system maps included in that. It's just well organized. It's well edited. I especially really like the ones that even have like a bullet point list of things that, like this one right here, noteworthy features. I love that. That's fabulous. Not all of them do that, so it might have been a choice by that particular designer, but some of them just include a very quick, just boom, boom, boom. Here's why you care, and here's what matters when it comes to like this particular system. So that's a really good way of organizing it for sure. Cons. Here's something I didn't actually mention at all during my review, but where is Captain and Gathrod? So I'm going to turn to camera 1 for a second and give off a little bit of a rant. I see very, very often, because I review a lot of products over the years, that designers love to do what Wizards has done in 5th edition for a lot of the supplement books, which is, couching them all in a personality from the universe. So Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, whatever it was. And you can do that because that is a character that then appears throughout the actual book, right? They'll have little fun like asides and sidebars and commentary, and that does a great job of just making it more fun for the GM or DM to actually read through the book and get that kind of hot take from that actual character. That doesn't exist here at all, except for this little sidebar here in the front. This is not good enough. So if you're gonna actually, and just, you can just call it Guide to the Stars or something. Everybody always has to put it's somebody's something. You can say this is somebody's something, but then I want that somebody to appear in the book, put little sidebars in there. And I realize this is a hard one to do that because you're giving assignments out to multiple editors and writers. But I think that would also be a fun way for the lead designer to then inject your own, if you're going to be the one writing in Gathrod, then only have that be from one voice so that it's one character, and then have them have fun commentary throughout all these different systems and characters and things, and make it so it's, hey, they're the ones that went to all these places, so they were able to report on this. That's a long rant about it, but it does bug the crap out of me because I see a lot of people do this. They have the so-and-so's thing, and then so-and-so never actually like appears in the book. My other con is, again, I think it might just be mismanaged expectations, but I was disappointed that I don't think there were any actual tales here. A lot of, there wasn't a lot of encounters or adventure content. The only thing we really get are these plot hooks, and some of them are pretty great. Like, there's some neat ideas and there's multiple paragraphs. Others are maybe just like single sentences and don't quite do it for me. But in general, I wanted a lot more than these plot hooks when it came to some adventure ideas. But maybe that's a problem with like the title. I was expecting an anthology book versus a source book or something, but to me, that was still, I came away a little disappointed with not enough adventure content overall. The final verdict, though lacking in actual Tall Tales, Captain Ingathorod's Tall Tales of Distant Stars is an excellent comprehensive source book for over a dozen interesting new wild space systems. Thank you to everyone for watching this video review. You can see my written review at roguewatson.com. You can watch more reviews and follow our own D&D adventures here on my YouTube channel. And you can support my work at patreon.com/RogueWatson. Shouts to Platinum patrons: Joe, Will, Thomas, Stan, Brandon, Genocider, Eclectic, Roleplayer, Christopher, Corey, Big Nut, John F., John L., Tyler, Nathan, Kemp, Chris, Lake, Counselor, Andrew, Relderin, Stephanie, Patrick, Jason, Ismail, Ahmet, Lumpy Spud, Sharni, Warden, Harold, Unimoni, LLC, Jamie, Reese, Alman, AJ, and Gold patrons, RPG, Papercraft, Pretty Boy, and Yuma, Diddles the Lounge, Jerome, Nathan, Faz, Lagatorius, Scott, Revis, Karen, Jerry, Glenn, Marcus, and Mark. Thank you all very much for your support.